So I've been doing a whole lot of magic lately, but I think I've been slacking with the whole automation aspect of things. So I'm just going to start with the first thing on the list and craft everything that I need to get started. If you recall, earlier I made this tree farm here, but I never really got around to automating the axes in it. So I figured the first thing I should do is get that over with. But I think I've got a pretty cool system for it. So I've got a player chest here, a water mill, a timer, and some conduits, as well as some filters and stuff. And once again, my living axe that has self-repairing on it. But remember, it will only repair itself when it's in your inventory. So let's get to building. So I'm just going to place my player chest down, but this needs extra utilities grid power. So I made a water mill. The water mills generate grid power by having running water adjacent to it. I think the maximum grid power that they can generate is 4. So for now, I'm just going to do a simple setup like this. Have some water running straight into the water mill. There we go. Actually, I think I'm going to need to make one more water mill. Okay, there we go. So now that's generating 4 grid power, and so is that one. And now we have access to the player chest. So the player chest, it's just kind of like an imitation of your inventory, but it allows you to input and output from whatever slot you want to. You can cycle through if you wanted to insert only or extract only or have full access. But I'm going to designate this inventory space here to have full access, which is where I'm going to have my living axe. So what I need to do is I need to come up with some kind of timer that every now and again will extract the axe from the chopper, put it into my inventory for just enough time to repair it, and then when it's done repairing, put it back into the chopper and just keep repeating that process over and over again. So that really shouldn't be too hard with the RF Tools timer. And in the input section, have it whitelisting the living axe. I'm going to set this to the top priority. And actually on the extract, I need to make this so it's whitelisting the living axe as well. And then on the chopper's whitelist, it will only input the living axe back into it. So in theory, that should be fine. Now I just need to set up my timer here. And let's just say cycle through everything every 20 seconds. So I think that's 400 ticks. Would that be? I think it would. Whenever this axe's durability is fully depleted, it will put it into this inventory slot, which will then go in my inventory to be repaired. And if it can't go in that inventory, it's going to go into one of these inventories. So I have to get some more item filters to blacklist the living axe in these. Okay, so I'm just going to go over this again real quick. I've got the player controller here that's set to have full access to this slot in my inventory. So if I put my living axe in there, after 20 seconds, it will extract the living axe. See, it just took it out. It puts it in the tree chopper. And when this living axe is fully depleted, it will output it into this inventory slot of the tree chopper, and then it will extract. It will go back in the player controller into this inventory slot. It will repair for however long and go back into the tree chopper. And the whole process will just get repeated over and over again. And again, I have the living axe blacklisted on these two item filters, and I also have oak wood blacklisted on this one, so that all the oak wood goes into here and gets made into charcoal. I think I'm actually going to make all this down here self-sufficient with a coal generator. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to disconnect this entire power line here. So actually what I'll do is I'll just put a coal generator on the side here and just go ahead and waste some conduits. It really doesn't matter too much to me. Charcoal going in there, and just branch the conduits off of this. So nice, we have a completely automated tree farm finally. Should actually probably get some storage drawers down here. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and trade out the furnace with an alloy smelter. And then why not put one more coal generator down? So everything down here should be running pretty smoothly now. Okay, there's those. Ooh, that's gonna be a lot better for our tree farm. And you know what? A while ago, I pulled up my agricarnations. I think it's time I set those back down. Okay, this is good because now that I have these set up, they'll help these ender lilies grow that I set down, as well as the trees over here. Wow, look how fast the trees are growing now. I find myself a lot of the time having to run all the way back to my storage crate here to get rid of my items. So I think that's the next thing that we should probably work on automating with ender storage, ender chests. So one ender pouch as well as one ender chest. Now, say we're way far out here, but I want to get rid of this obsidian and the wool on me. Go ahead and toss it in the ender pouch. It gets transferred into the storage system that I set up. Okay, I'm going to sit here and watch my axe because it's almost all the way depleted. I want to see what it does. It's in our inventory. And look at that, it's back in the chopper. And I think I actually made this off camera, but I made a chunk loader here. And I have this whole area loaded, so everything in these chunks that I have defined will always be running. So the storage system here is working fine, but I think it's finally time for a bit of an upgrade. So I'm going to get to crafting a whole bunch of stuff from Refined Storage, a mod very similar to the original Applied Energistics, with some additional similarities to Applied Energistics 2. So the first thing I have here is the controller, which I've connected a laser relay to a laser relay downstairs there. And I find myself spending a lot more time above ground, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and set up everything, or at least the main network up here for now. So now that's getting RF, and this uses a certain amount of RF per tick. Right now it's using 0 because I have nothing connected to it. This is what will control any additions you make to your refined storage network when they're connected to it. The next thing I have here is the solderer, which I'll just place on right on top here. This does require RF, and this is what we need to make most of the machines, I guess you could call them, from refined storage. So we've got these basic processors here. Now I want to make some printed silicon. Okay, there's those. But now I have enough to make a disk drive. So that, machine casing, and a chest gets us the disk drive. And this you can just straight up put it next to the controller, which uses at the moment 0 RF per tick because we don't have any storage disks in it. And then that plus 2 sugar equals a speed upgrade, which will speed this up quite a bit. And it doesn't use any extra RF per tick, it looks like. Make 1 construction core, then 1 destruction core. We've got a grid. Well, if we connect this on the side here, we now have access to a grid, but we can't put any items in it yet because we don't have any storage disks quite yet. The grid is now a crafting grid, and we can, once we have items in here, we'll be able to craft items based on what's in this inventory, and you can actually sync it to JEI. And actually, I only want to use the solderer sometimes. So I can make something called a relay. We can set this up kind of like this. This is going to look kind of silly, but the solderer is receiving power, but we can turn it off if we want. So now the system is using 4 RF per tick. When it's turned on, it's using 8 RF per tick. So the next thing I'm going to make finally is the 1K storage disk. Because I really want to reduce inventory clutter right now, so you just toss that in there. Now we are able to store items in the refined storage system. Finally. I think for now I'm going to stick with the 16K storage disks. Okay, you've got 3 4K storage parts, and I should be able to craft, one 16K storage part. Now that can be crafted into the storage disk itself. So now this is using 10 RF per tick. It says we're only 2% full right now, so I think we should be good. So I'm definitely going to need some way to input all my stuff into this system up here. And the way we do that is through interfaces. So I need an importer as well as an exporter. So put the exporter on the bottom, importer on the top, and then a basic processor in there. We've got an interface. The way these work is, say, we branch off some cables from the network here, set the interface down, and put some items in there. Slowly, those are going into the system. And I actually think I'd rather have my solderer branching off in this direction. Okay, gonna bring this all the way down here. So now I can put items in the interface, and they are now going in the system. So what's cool about the Actually Edition's item interface is it basically acts as an extension of our storage system. So if we go ahead and output from it instead of input into it, we can transfer all the items from our old storage system into the new storage system with an Ender.io item conduit because I couldn't get the ESD to work with the refined storage interface. We're only 8% full so far. We've got 17,000 more spaces to fill. Making another speed upgrade. Let's see if one more speed upgrade makes this any faster. Yeah, that definitely looks faster. Also, check this out. Since I have my base chunk loaded, I'm all the way out here where I have my root stuff, which I am going to move. I could just toss everything in this ender pouch, and it goes into my system. One more 16K storage disk, because I'm starting to get a little low on storage space. It's only 65% full right now, but now we've got a lot more room for some stuff. Okay, so that looks to be about everything transferred. So soon we'll repurpose this wall to get the automatic ore processing stuff going. So the next thing I'd like to make is an external storage. Now this is cool in that it accounts for the storage in the block in front of it and supplies the refined storage network with that inventory. So if I look in here, there's 9 cables in there. If I take those out, it took those cables from this storage crate here. So I'm going to use this in conjunction with the storage drawers. The first thing that I would like to make is a drawer controller. So I've just been using this packing tape to package my storage drawers. So I cleared out some space down here, right below the refined storage stuff, and I'm gonna put my external storage right on the top here, attach some cables to it, and then put a drawer controller attached to it. Now, if I set my storage drawers up just like this. Okay, so I finally got it working. I've got all my drawers set up here. Now we've got the cobble and the redwood and all that stuff. The redwood's there, the clay's there, everything's there, so that's good. So now if I'm having things automatically get imported into that interface I have set up down there, it'll try to go into these storage drawers first. But if I manually put, say, cobble into my system here, it'll stay in the storage disk. On top of all the just miscellaneous things that we've been doing today, I thought I would make a charged porter to make the teleportation stuff quicker for us. So I'm actually going to make an advanced charged porter. So if we go to the basement here, we sneak right-click on a receiver, it stores it in the charged porter. So this, obviously it needs power. Okay, now that's full. Now, if we shift right click, we can set where we want to go. And then we appear there. So that's cool. Looks like it used, what is that, about 8,000 RF. So now I can go to all of my teleporters and shift right click on the receivers. It stores it in the charged porter. So now I can go to the Nether. And then set this as a destination as well. So I want to go back to the forest, say. And we are there, but it used quite a bit of RF, but that's okay. Awesome. Now another thing I'd like to do is repurpose this canola farm into just a basic wheat farm. I've actually had to resort to baked potatoes as food, and I don't like that. So it's about time. It's like way overdue. Get a hopper, just going into this ender chest here. Remember, this ender chest is linked up to our input chest, so when the wheat gets input into the input chest over there, it will just straight up go into the refined storage system. And then I'll just set the capacitor bank right there. So this will be kind of a buffer for everything. Now that should all be working. The only thing that isn't automated about this is the hoe. But I think that's good for now. This doesn't really use much durability on the hoe. So I'm not going to worry about totally automating this yet. I'm going to make a drawer key because I took a bunch of dirt out of my system and it decided that it wanted to input some hopper ducts into this drawer. So just lock these drawers. Now if I take that dirt out, there's still one piece of dirt. And then if I put a whole bunch of dirt into my input chest, it should go into the storage drawer first. Yeah, look at that. Awesome. So adding on to a lot of the cleanup we've already done today, I think it's time I move the Britannia stuff while also adding a better source of mana generation, which I think will be a lot of fun. So I'm going to get started with that. You know what would help this go a lot quicker? A builder's wand, or a building wand rather. Just going to charge this up. If you'd like to transport your mana without losing any of it, just store it in your mana tablet. But I would like to make some new generating flowers. I need to make some more earth runes real quick. So 1 red, 2 orange, and the runes. And a seed. We've got a Therma Lily. So I think 3 should be plenty to start off with. But I still need to make one more thing, or things rather. So I've got a couple of fluid placers here, and I found out I didn't really need to make 2. I only need 1, but just place it right here in the ground. And then put my flowers around just like this. Conduit going into the fluid placer. remember, we made the ender tanks. So these will be good for transporting the lava. Just hook up my ender tank down here. Oh, I hear it. I hear some mana generating. Look at that. I don't even think I mentioned it, but the thermalilies will suck up lava and generate mana from the lava. But look at this. Our mana spreader is even having trouble keeping up. So I've got here a mana distributor, as well as 2 more mana pools. 2 mana spreaders. Another thing to mention is the thermalilies have a cooldown time. It says it's 5 minutes. But what I want to do here is set a mana distributor down and set 1 mana pool here and another there. Now what the mana distributor is going to do is it's going to take a mana burst and split that mana between this pool and this pool. So this is where this mana burst will start to lose energy, so I'm going to put the mana pool there. Crafting some more earth runes here because I want to get into making lenses. Because my Botania stuff is now all the way over here, but I still need to supply those agricarnations with mana. Now this is just a regular mana lens, but if we combine it with a rune of earth, we get a resistance lens. So take note of how far this mana burst will travel before losing mana. About right at this block right here. But if I put this lens on the mana spreader, it will now travel about 3 blocks further. I'm actually going to make 1 more lens. So I've got lens and then combine it with a rune of water and you get an efficiency lens. Now I think that with a slime ball, you can combine lenses together. Yeah, look at that. We've got resistance efficiency lens. I really want it to go a little bit further than 3 blocks. Another thing we'll make here is a Mana Seer monocle. Should now be able to see, yeah, look at that. We can see the range of the flowers now. Okay, that's perfect. The agricarnations are still working. They're still pulling in mana. The lenses seem to help the distance that the mana can travel. And this Mana Seer monocle, you're able to see the mana bursts even if you're not holding onto your Wand of the Forest, which is really cool. Hey look, a mana pearl's ready. Or an ender pearl, finally. If you are wondering why it has taken me so long to put out this video, it's because I've encountered some sort of bug with refined storage where one of my 16K storage drives is showing that I have about negative 6 million% space used in my network, and I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but a lot of my items have been getting duplicated without me knowing this at all, and I like everything to be as legitimate as possible. So really, I've just been dreading playing because I'm gonna have to sort through all of my stuff and get everything back to the way it was, and it's gonna suck, but I'll get it done. And now that I've finally finished editing this video, I think I'll have some more incentive to do that, so just thought I'd give you a little bit of insight on that subject. But that is about everything for today. I know I said I was going to upgrade the incense altar, but we'll save that for next time. But I got quite a bit done today. We got storage upgrades. We kind of did some maintenance on the tree farm and the farm over here. Moved the mana stuff, got some better mana generation going. Life will be a lot easier from now on in terms of having easy access to everything. But that's about it. Thanks for watching once again. I really appreciate the support, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.